Hi everybody. I'm Kevin, and I'm one of the co-hosts for AYLUS, and I'm starting this meeting with Alan, who's also a co-host. And without further ado, let's start the orientation. First, we have to watch a video that's from the 2022 photography contest, and this video pretty much encapsulates all that we're doing in AYLUS and what's it about. So I guess we can start that now.
Is there supposed to be sound?
There's no sound.
And it's very laggy.
So you can't hear it? No sound. You need to share your sound.
There's background music, but like there's no like actual like words. I think it's fine.
You can't really hear the music.
Okay, and that's the video. And just to reiterate, the sound in the video was entirely just music. So there wasn't really a need for me to unmute to have the sound spoken, because otherwise it just like sound really laggy, both like auditorially and visually, and that wouldn't be great. So yeah. And now Alan.
Right now, we're going to invite a honorary president of AYLUS, founder of the Greater Princeton Branch, and current freshman at Columbia University, to speak to us. Welcome, Cassie Wang.
It's Casey with a word. Hi everyone. Can everyone hear me? Okay. So I'm Casey. I am a first-year student at Columbia University and an AYLUS National Honorary President. So first of all, welcome to AYLUS. It's my pleasure to meet you. I'm going to just go and explain some goals and the purpose of AYLUS. So our goal is to help our members develop by encouraging them to use their talents and to step outside the comfort zone, to break down societal barriers and stereotypes. So in addition, AYLUS encourages students to be discerning in their community service participation and use their creativity and innovation to propose original activity ideas and more. So the goal of this, it's not only to fulfill your school's required community service hours or to win awards. We want you to develop a sense of responsibility, time management, and teamwork. So we want you to learn and begin to understand the perspectives of people from completely different environments and backgrounds. And by getting to know their situations, figure out how you can provide meaningful help for them. So through the process of community service, we want you to learn how to overcome setbacks, achieve goals, and better serve the community. And in summary, the mission of AYLUS is basically to cultivate members with leadership skills and to encourage them to become future leaders in their respective fields. That's it for me, and thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you, Cassie, for your speech. And now let's I guess like reiterate the mission and vision of AYLUS as an organization. So for the mission of AYLUS, our mission is to promote the development of its members through leadership, integrity, and innovation through the planning and execution of volunteer projects that aim at benefiting our communities. And our vision over here, which is basically that we are a student-run nonprofit organization dedicated to the advancement of our communities, which range not only from our own homes, but all across the United States, both locally and nationally. And I guess now I can use this opportunity to quickly introduce myself. My name is Kevin Chen, and I am 16 years old. I'm a rising junior, and I currently attend Watchung Hills Regional High School in New Jersey. And I'm currently the co-president of the AYLUS organization. And volunteering in AYLUS has served to improve both myself and the broader community. So by participating in the numerous events that AYLUS offers, which we will be going into more in detail later, I've improved numerous skills, including my organization skills, which I've honed through the many benefit concerts that I've planned. My fear of public speaking, which was combated through hosting some of the benefit concerts that I also planned. And then also my leadership abilities, which I cultivated by becoming the president of AYLUS. But most importantly, I've recognized that although I may just be a single individual, I can make a noticeable, tangible impact in my community through volunteering, both locally and nationally. And I'd like to extend my deepest thanks to our national advisor, Huang, all of our branch advisors, all of our board of directors, as well as the other national leaders, with their efforts, AYLUS has grown to be a formidable organization. And currently we have almost 124 branches and counting in the United States, and that is being continuously updated. So that's a really positive development that I like to see. And now I'd like to hand it off to my other co-president, Alan.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to make this a little more brief. I am a co-president of the AYLUS National Branch. I am 16, rising senior, and I go to high school at Syosset High School. I'm president of the Syosset branch as well. So the things I've done and the things that AYLUS has done for me mostly, again, as Kevin said, it cultivates leadership, it cultivates community cohesion, and this is the most important thing that we're able to get out of AYLUS. Just the ability to be able to plan events that help the community is really great, and to have this opportunity is really great. Some of the things that we've done at Syosset, we hosted an anti-Asian hate rally with 300, 400 plus people and many important legislators, state legislators and regional legislators. We've hosted school drives and raised couples of thousands of money, dollars worth of supplies to give to the underprivileged. We've hosted concerts and talent shows for senior centers, and basically the list goes on. But the overall goal is, again, to encourage leadership within our community and leadership within the people around us. That's what we do. So again, thank you to everyone who's able to make this possible. Just reiterating, thank you to our national advisor, Wang, all the advisors, the branch advisors, branch leaders, and just to everyone for your continued participation in this event. It's really, really great, and we hope to continue this trend. All right, so here is the main course, I guess, of this meeting. Just a brief presentation about AYLUS, who we are, how to get started, some of the events we've done, and some of the events that you could take inspiration from and do in your own branches. So first, our impact. AYLUS was founded in July of 2015. We're gonna have our 10-year anniversary by July of 2025, so that's exciting. And basically, there's two levels of, I guess, AYLUS. There's one, there's branch leadership, and two is national leadership. So for each branch, there will be positions, whether it's presidents, co-presidents, secretaries, but there could also be more niche positions like editors or committee chairs of certain events that that everyone is capable of doing. And then the national leadership is basically just taking the main actors of each branch and just collecting it into like one big overseeing leadership group. So for us, me and Kevin and I are co-presidents, and we have co-vice presidents. We have, again, community chairs. There's a unity one for environmental protection, one for photography, etc. And basically, if you are active and you play an active role in your own branch, then you will have the ability to run for the national leadership. So our goal is to have AYLUS in all 50 states. Right now, there's the, I guess, map of where we are right now, and we aim to expand it throughout the country. So yeah, this is just our mission. Maybe we can skip through that. So AYLUS leadership. So for the national leadership, each term will last for 1 year. There's a president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, and there's also committee chairs that are dependent on who we have each year and what everyone is good at. So the committee chairs will be flexible throughout each year. The branch leadership also has a president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, and branch elections are in April of each year, and only active members can apply. So if members aren't actively joining events or attending summits and seminars, then they won't be able to apply for the leadership. So national elections are open in May each year after the branch elections, and only active branch leaders can apply. So normal members of each branch will not be able to apply to national positions. Only the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer of each branch will be able to apply for the national leadership. And only active branch advisors can vote. So the requirements for a new branch, one is at least 3 people should make up a branch. It shouldn't just be 1 or 2 people doing events and passing it off as AYLUS, right? This should be a group. And at least 1 adult advisor. This can come from anywhere, whether it's a teacher at your school or when someone's parent, as long as there's 1 adult advisor overseeing it and being able to communicate with the national branch or national leadership advisors, then that's fine. You can download a completed application form and photos of founders, send photos of your founders to AYLUS.org, and we will be able to make a branch page for you on the website. And founders and advisors must take an AYLUS orientation to start. So if you're here, you can start if you have all the other criteria. So when AYLUS receives your branch application, we will run through it, basically see if there's anything that we should know, or if there's anything that might prohibit the branch from being created. But generally, it's pretty lenient. As long as you have, again, you match criteria above, it'll most likely be approved. So once you're approved, the AYLUS will create a branch webpage and account for you, so that you can report your activities to the main AYLUS website. And basically, that's how you get all the other things. That's how you apply for the President's Volunteer Service Award. I think that's the exact name. It's basically just where you update your activities. You'll create a branch email with the format aylusbranchname@gmail.com. So for my branch, it would be aylussyosset@gmail.com. For Kevin, it would be aylusgreaterprinceton@gmail.com. AYLUS will invite your advisor to join a group chat on WeChat, and AYLUS will send your login to your branch email, and then from there you'll be able to do everything, update your web page with your members, your leaders, your activities, and maybe some other important things about your branch. Right. So when your branch is established, there are a couple of things that you'll need to get. Firstly is the branch banner. The purpose is just, it's easier to recognize your branch name. At events, you'll be able to take pictures with these banners so that not only it's clear who you are to just on the website, it'll also be clear who you are to the people around you. Maybe some people will be able to see it, and they'll be able to better communicate with you, and you'll be able to see whether they want to join or not. It's just easier to recognize the branch itself. So the cost depends on location and shipping. The banners will only come from a select few locations, so the farther it is, it might cost more or less. Regardless, you can request your banner at aylus.org@gmail.com. Second thing is AYLUS uniform. So I see that most of the people in this meeting are wearing it. Here it is. There's a shirt and there's a hoodie. Yeah. It serves the same purpose as a banner, just as you're going about. I guess this is more for the general public, just for other people to maybe see that the people who are hosting events or doing these kinds of things come from this organization, and it'll help with like volunteering and basically every sort of event except for maybe events that require like tuxedos or dresses or whatever, like music performances or like other special occasions. So you can also request uniforms at aylus.org@gmail.com. So branch status. This is how we evaluate branches that are currently existing. There will be 4 statuses. So first is neutral. All new branches will be labeled as such initially for 2 months or less, regardless of how many things you do. We just can't evaluate a branch based off of less than 2 months worth of activities. So the next one is active. A branch hosts or participates in an AYLUS project in the first 2 months, and then at least once a month to maintain its active status. So each month, a branch will be required to host at least 1 or 2 activities to maintain an active status. It shouldn't be like 5 activities within the first month and then just 0 activities later, because then we can't really count that as an ongoing organization. So honor status is granted upon receiving a branch of the month or branch of the year awards from the board of directors based on number of activities and number of participants or volunteers and impact. Basically, this is how we evaluate the best branches. This is how we see how active everyone is, how actively everyone's participating in community events and such. And the branch of the month or year award is basically, it's kind of self-explanatory. It'll be given to the most active or the most the branch with the most activities and most participants that month or year. Last one's inactive, also pretty self-explanatory. A branch that has not held any activities or events for 3 months, or inactive branches, advisors, and members will be disqualified for any awards or leadership elections. If you're inactive, you can't really count as AYLUS. So the status evaluation occurs once every quarter, which is 3 months, with the exception for new branches that just joined in the quarter. If you're a new branch, we won't evaluate you based off of normal standard, but after 2 months, you will enter that pool. So if no activity has occurred within 3 months, the branch will be demoted from active to inactive or from honor to active. And if activities are reported during the quarter and a branch was previously labeled inactive, it'll be promoted to neutral after 1 project and active after 2 projects. So branch duties, host and participate advisor approved events. Basically, this is where the bulk of your activities will come from, and sources of community service, if that's what you're interested in. You should stay active, at least 1 event per month, coordinate applicable national projects, raise funds for AYLUS to be able to support ourselves, post activities to aylus.org within 7 days of the event being there, just so that we know that the activity was done, post activity links on branch webpage, and promote AYLUS events to recruit members. All right. So volunteer hours and activity posts. The way that you get volunteer hours from our organization is by making reports on the AYLUS website. Otherwise, we won't be able to verify whether the event actually happened. So first, all events must be pre-approved by a branch advisor. So that'll just be like your branch advisor. You don't have to contact the national branch for everything you do. We'll get more into that later, but the advisor will check with the AYLUS board of directors on special cases that aren't certain. So more big scale events, sometimes events might be labeled as controversial, if any. So just base it off of common sense, really. The second point, a branch must post the AYLUS event and report it to aylus.org. So you'll be using the standard format, branch name plus activity plus date for the title of the report. You'll briefly describe the activity and its impact to the community, and then you'll add media, so videos and photos of members serving others, basically just photos of like the key moments and of the event. So make sure that you remember to take photos and videos of each event, otherwise we won't be able to verify it. And then lastly, list all participants and their service-based hours certified by the advisor. Third point, AYLUS has the full discretion as to how to verify and accept service hours. We reserve the rights to decline artificially inflated hours and planning instead of actual services, activities with obscure natures, or activities without a clear verification. So make sure that the report is extremely clear what everyone's doing, where everyone is, and the easier it is to say that's a real event, the easier it will be to get approved. All right, so the PBSA, active branch members with US citizenship or permanent residency will be able to apply. I'm assuming this is everyone, but if not, you can reach out to us and we'll talk about it. The age groups for the PBSA, if you don't know, are 5 to 10 years old, 11 to 15, 16 to 25, and 26 plus. And the age cutoff date is October 1st. So if you have maybe a November birthday like me, you will, last year when I applied, I was 15 before October 1st, but I would be 16 that year. But in that case, I would still be in the 11 to 15 group. The awards are bronze, silver, and gold. So if you are 15 years old, that would be 50 plus community service hours for bronze, 75 plus community service hours for silver, and 100 plus hours for gold. This will vary depending on what age group you're in. So for gold, it'll be 100 plus, or for the 16 to 25 one, for gold, it'll be 100 plus hours, then 150, I believe, and then 250. So the period, or I guess the due date to submit this and submit everything is May 1st. To next year's April 30th. So everything you do within that time frame will be counted towards the PBSA. Non-AYLUS hours are subjected to AYLUS branch and board of verification. If you want to submit or apply for the PBSA through AYLUS with community service hours for other, like from other organizations, you would have to talk to us first about it and for us to verify. All right, so now I'll pass it off to Kevin for the activities.
Okay, so now we'll be moving on into like what we actually do. So below will be like a pretty comprehensive list of the AYLUS activities that we do, but this is by no means like the entirety of what we do. And I'd like to emphasize that like any member can organize their own event, especially if it's local, and especially if you want to set up like a new branch in an area that like might not have a lot of AYLUS activities. So in that case, like finding new activities is essential. So these are just like a pretty exhaustive list of what we do like generally, but there's obviously like certain events that we don't cover here. So this is the first one is our benefit concerts, and I would say, in my opinion, this is like the linchpin of AYLUS events. It's like one of the biggest. It raises the most money, but the concept is actually pretty simple. It's essentially a concert where you pay like an admission fee, like I guess like $50, let's say, and that money, all of it gets raised towards like a cause. So like last year, it was raised towards the Save a Life Foundation, where we distributed like free meals to like first responders and like we donated like essential equipment, etc. So, and the concert, anyone who plays any instrument can be a part of it. So it's not like a boring like piano recital. Like I've been to like many of those where it's like piano performance after piano performance after piano performance. This, you can play like any instrument, you can even dance. You can like recite a poem, like that's been done before. And you can do any genre of music, so it doesn't have to be like restricted to classical. And it's overall a really fun experience. the ones that I've been a part of in the past have raised, thousands of dollars. So they've been extremely successful. But yeah, if you if there's like a benefit concert in the vicinity, I highly encourage you to join it. And like if you're like considering like setting up a branch, I do recommend this as an activity that you can be like you can like establish. And then the second activity we have here, the book drive for kids. So this is pretty self-explanatory. You like donate books to libraries to like give to like underprivileged children who might not have access to these books. The third activity we have, the charity art show. This is similar in concept to the benefit concert, except for where the benefit concert is like performing arts. This is more like visual art. So like you pay like a set like admission fee to display like your artwork in like an art show. And similar to the benefit concert, all the money in the admission fees, they go towards a cause. So like this year, our benefit concert is concurrent with an art show. So there's an art show at the same venue as the benefit concert. So if you might like, if you're not as good with like playing an instrument, but you're a very good artist, you could consider doing this as well. And then here we have computer lab for kids. And to my knowledge, this is a program where you repair computers and then you donate them to underprivileged children across the US. And this is incredibly important, especially given like our modern like information age, where access to internet and like having Chromebooks in our schools is increasingly like more important. And where like there's still like thousands of like kids, you might not know, but like there's thousands of kids across the US, like especially in like rural, like isolated communities that don't have adequate access to the internet like the rest of us do. So having these computers like repaired and given to them would be like incredibly helpful. And then these two, they should also be like really self-explanatory. You basically work in a food kitchen and you serve food to homeless people or just like people who just need a hot meal. And this is pretty like, it's some pretty exhausting work, but it's very worth it. And it's very rewarding. So that's always something that you can do. Here, this is a bunch of activities that go under the umbrella environmental conservation. So the first point is legislation to reduce, reuse, and recycle. This it's been done a couple of times in the past, but it's like definitely not as prominent as of an activity that we do now. And essentially you just like attend like town meetings and then like you voice your opinions and advocate for environmental change. This is like it's more of an iffy event because there is like political undertones. So if you want to do something like this, you definitely do probably need branch advisor approval to do that. But the following ones you can just organize within your own branch, easy peasy. So there's like adopt a park where you go like in your local park and you just clean up. Coastal cleanup, which is pretty much the same thing, but like next to the ocean. Roots for Rivers is a program where you like plant trees. Plastic bags and thin film custom recycling and bottle recycling, that should also be pretty like self-explanatory. You recycle plastic bags, thin film, and bottles. So those are our environmental conservation activities. And also this is like an opportunity where you like, this is definitely an area where you can set up like local events. Like for example, I within my area, right, I organized an event in Arboretum, which is basically like a huge greenhouse where there's like botanists who plant a lot of like wildlife and like plants. So I organized volunteer work there, and also in like places like in like farms, for example, where you can also find work there. So this is definitely an area where you could look to for like, I guess like small scale local events that you can do like weekly, for example. And then these are just general fundraisers for AYLUS. So these are basically just events where you like, maybe it's like a bake sale or it's like a garage sale where you just get food, other like merchandise, and just like sell it to the community, and then you take those funds and use them for AYLUS or like donate them to some sort of charity. So that's pretty self-explanatory. And the library program, so this actually encompasses a couple of things. So there's a couple of things you can do volunteering at the library. You can just volunteer by like helping put books on the shelves. You can also, there's like a program that we do where you write reviews in the library. So like you take a book and you read it, and then you write a review, like what did you like? What was the plot? What didn't you like? Like what's the main message of the book? And you put it like in the library database. So like children have like access to these kind of reviews. So it makes like choosing a book easier. And then here there's like a program where AYLUS volunteers actually teach chess to like children like 6 to 12 years old. So if you're good at chess, that might be something you might think about doing. And then here we have Music from the Heart for veterans and seniors. This is similar in concept to a benefit concert, except you're not like raising money. It's just a concert for seniors in senior centers. And this is very important given that a lot of seniors, especially in like the COVID age, are increasingly feeling like isolated and depressed because they've been separated from their communities. So having a concert like this with music, which I consider to be like a unifying medium, like no matter like who you are, no matter like what language you speak, how old you are, like what your beliefs are, I think music can unify all of us. And it really does make an impact for these seniors. But one thing that is an important consideration for this is like you have to speak to your like local senior centers for like information regarding like COVID restrictions and as such. Like especially during like when COVID was still a big issue, like getting all of those like restrictions like fine-tuned and aware of is like pretty difficult. But I think now we're like in the we're like the COVID pandemic is like on its like last legs, so that could be like an easier process. And then this is Save a Life. There's a bunch of things here, and essentially this is the program that we've been largely donating to for like the past 2 years. And essentially most of these funds we get from like fundraisers and like the benefit concert, that's a big one. And the premise is that we send essential equipment like PPE, or we send like hot meals to first responders across the country. So last year after the benefit concert, what me and like my other branch members would do was we would send free meals to like EMS squads around where we live like locally, or we send like food to hospitals around where we live, or like police stations and such. And it's basically a way to give thanks and appreciation to first responders, especially given like the context of the whole COVID pandemic and like the impacts and ramifications it has on us. And yeah, these are just the same thing. And here we have Save a Life, which is basically you organize like walkathons and marathons to raise awareness for Alzheimer's disease, like a degenerative brain disorder. And it's basically they bring awareness to this disease. So that's pretty self-explanatory. And it doesn't have to be like these huge grandiose marches. It could be like more small scale with maybe like a couple of your fellow branch members in like your local area. So it doesn't have to be like this large scale. And then these are our virtual seminars. And basically these are seminars that promote the goals and the themes of AYLUS as an organization. And what we do is we invite speakers like to interview and basically talk about their profession and maybe how leadership plays into how they're successful and whatnot. So like we can bring like PhDs, we can bring doctors, we can bring a bunch of different people. And they're a good opportunity for you to like familiarize yourself with like the field that person might be working in, and also just to like improve your leadership skills. So these happen like they don't happen too often, but when they do, you should definitely try to attend them. And then I'll just hand it off to Alan for the last couple slides.
There. So those are all examples of events that you can do just within your own branch. Maybe you can propose some of those. And I think it's important to emphasize that those are just examples of events that you can do. Each branch knows their members well enough to be able to come up with their own events and come up with their own ways to gain volunteer hours. The events above, certainly you can do them. They're open for anyone to do. As AYLUS, we should be doing events on a similar level and on a similar topic. But your options aren't just limited to those. I think it's important to emphasize that we are Alliance of Youth Leaders in the United States. So we encourage you to come up with your own ideas and see what kind of events you can organize or what kind of things you can do to better your own community. Maybe if someone's really good at drawing, you could participate in the art show that was mentioned before, but you could also try doing some other activities related to drawing, maybe coming up with like competitions or like showcases to underprivileged or like maybe host classes for kids in underprivileged areas, as just something like that. But feel free to come up with your own events. So the following things are just stuff that we do within AYLUS. So first is the AYLUS Leadership Summit. It's not monthly anymore, but it will happen every so often. And basically, it's just a meeting where all the national leaders, community chairs, branch leaders, and branch advisors get together and just kind of check in on how everyone's doing and review and plan for the year. So that's that. Next slide. Oh. All right, so the next one is the AYLUS Times. It's basically a report for what we do as a whole. So highlighting the most prominent events of each month from also all over the country, from every branch. So there's editors and art editors from 10 plus branches. And if you want to be an editor, you can always reach out to us at the official AYLUS email. And it just showcases like recent national and branch events and awards maybe, or announcements. Next slide. And then there's the AYLUS Advisors and Leadership Group. This is just a group chat where all the leaders and advisors from each branch are going to be. So invited participants are the board of directors, national leadership team, community chairs, branch advisors, and branch presidents. So this is just the group where everyone will be able to communicate each other better without clogging it with too many members. So after joining, you'll identify yourself with name, branch, and title and branch, and just basically stay tuned and active, see what updates we give in the group chat. And if you have any questions, you can always ask them. Yeah, all right. So support. Fundraisers to help AYLUS cover PVSA expenses for ourselves. You will be able to donate to AYLF via Zelly. That'll come maybe a little later in the year. And shop on Amazon Smile. So Amazon Smile will donate 0.5% of each purchase to AYLF and take advantage of the company charity match program. Or you could always just like donate it directly, which is the first point. All right. So online resources, lastly, it's just the links on the screen. If you have any questions, maybe after the meeting that you maybe forgot to ask, you can go to the FAQ section of the website. Contacting the AYLUS president will be just aylus.org@gmail.com, and contacting the AYLF board of directors will be aylfus@gmail.com. So if you have any questions that maybe aren't on the FAQ, or just concerns that you want to raise, or maybe events that you want to approve, these are the emails that you will be contacting. All right, so now we're going to go on to the most frequently asked questions, and then after that, we'll leave it open to you guys to ask questions that you may have. So first question is, do branch meetings count toward the volunteer hours? The answer is no. How you plan things it's super easy to inflate or artificially inflate the hours that you get in these meetings. So it's advised to not count the branch meetings as volunteer hours, and we won't be accepting them as well, unless there's like a really special circumstance.
Okay, so for question 2, do you have to get national leadership to approve of branch activities? I would say not necessarily. So for like really small scale local events, like you go to like your local food bank, or you volunteer at an arboretum, or like you go to a farm and you like help them harvest. I feel like that is it's reasonably like small and like common sense enough where you don't need to go like to your branch advisor and ask for approval for those events. But if it's like a larger scale like national event, like a benefit concert, or maybe a more politically charged event, like like the going to town meetings and like advocating for legislation, that probably does need branch advisor approval before you actually institute that.
So the branch of the month or branch of the year award, as mentioned previously, it's just given to the most active and branches in that specific month or year. Typically, there will be about maybe 5 to 6 branches that will get this award, and it's just good for maintaining your honor status. And if anyone wants to apply for a national leadership, this is the gateway to that.
Okay. Is there a certain number of volunteer hours a member has to complete each month? So to answer this question, you don't have like an obligation where you have to do like X amount of hours, or else you'll not be a part of AYLUS anymore. However, you do need to be active like collectively as a branch to maintain active status. And also you need to complete volunteer hours to get like the PVSA awards, for example. And just in general, like it should be encouraged that you should try to stay active within the organization. Like after all, you are joining AYLUS, which is a volunteering organization. So it kind of like defeat the point if you join and then you just never do anything. So no, there isn't like there's no like binding requirement for you to do like X amount of hours, but it's highly encouraged that you do anyway.
Last question was, with increasing number of local volunteer organizations, how to attract more youth volunteers to join AYLUS? The most effective way is word of mouth. It is surprising how fast word of mouth travels, and just by doing larger scale activities that impact maybe your immediate community, you can tell your friends to join. You can maybe have set up maybe announcements in your school through maybe if they have announcements, you can give this to them and say, hey, we have this organization for anyone who wants to join. And then basically just tell your friends and family or anyone you know, maybe if they're interested in getting community service hours, or just generally want to help their community. This is the best way to do it. Okay, so now we're going to open the presentation up to any questions that you guys still may have.
Yeah, so I just saw Jeffrey's question in the chat about like any like more technology based events that will be hosted by AYLUS, and I would say yes, there are. So there are events just like hackathons, and there's events where I think recently I volunteer at an event where it's like a technology showcase in the mall, and where basically we volunteered and helped like the robotics team set up, and we like helped with like crowd control in that event. So there's that as well. And I always encourage like all branch members to try to set up their own events in their own areas. If they're like really like I'm like if you're really passionate about technology, you can definitely try to see like in your local community, like if there's opportunities for you to like create such events, especially since like STEM is such like a burgeoning like I guess field of studies. Like so there's so many more people going into STEM. And I know one of our like national leaders, Alyssa, she's like responsible for like coding and whatnot. So I can try to see if I can find her email and give it to you. So if you're still there, can you just, Jeffrey, can you just like send me your email so I can try to like send Alyssa's email to you? So you can you can ask her for more detailed questions about it.
Yeah, I just want to point out again, the events mostly should be coming from the branches themselves. So if you have, and you should be coming up with your own ideas for events and what kind of events that you want to do. The events that we had in this presentation are just events that we've traditionally done that maybe you can take inspiration from. All right, so Evan's question, will there be any sports related events? Again, you can come up with your own, but some potential ideas for sports events could be hosting sports games within your own community, maybe having an admission fee and then donating that to some sort of reputable charity, or taking it for important expenses like clothing or banners or something like that. There are, again, a plethora of things that you can do. That should be coming from your own mind. So yeah, can individual branches issue out volunteer hours to their own members? Technically, you do report your own volunteer hours, but the only way that we can log that and that we can count that towards the PVSA is by reporting it. So we'll be all the hours will be approved by the national board. It won't be too strict, like as long as we can see that the event was done and it was done correctly, and there's nothing questionable about that, then it will count for the PVSA members. However, if you're trying to count hours for things like meetings or other events that maybe like only one person went to, then that might be a little more questionable. We can't log that for you. Are there any other questions? All right.
Okay.
I think that'll be the end of the meeting. So
Yeah.
Kevin,
So that's like almost on the dot. So thank you everyone for attending this meeting, and I hope I'll see you all like if you guys live near me, I guess like at a volunteering event. So I hope to see all of you, or like at seminars or whatnot. So have a good day, everyone.
Are we supposed to take group picture or no?
I think no, I recorded the meeting, so I logged that everyone's here.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye.